Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the Dieter Melhorn Fishing Podcast. I hope you're having a good day, whatever day it is that you happen to be listening to the show. Today's show is going to be a little watch and react video to the big tournament win that took place with the YouTube stars that a bunch of y'all know, and one that you may not know, but you're going to get to know him after today's show because I'm putting you a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. It's also going to be up here, and we're going to be watching a video and reacting to it from his channel, BJC Outdoors. He was one of the anglers that was on the boat, Bradley Cross, and he's got some good content that I invite y'all all to go check out after watching this video. So a big shout out to the sponsor for today's video. That's Windrider. I'm wearing one of their shirts now. You'll see me wearing a lot of their stuff this summer out on the boat. They make these type of sun shirts that are great. Some of them have hoods. They have the neck gaiters in that can just give you total sun protection. They also make rain gear and cold water gear, even for some of you guys that are up there ice fishing later on this year into next year. They've got all kinds of outdoor apparel for anglers especially. You'll be seeing a lot of their stuff on my channel, so I invite you to check it out. There'll be a link in the description, and also use the promo code CATFISH when you check out. You can save some money on their products. But yeah, we're going to do a little watch and react to this video. This is obviously is from Bradley's channel, so let's give you a little introduction to Bradley here when he starts out the video.
Hey, good morning, folks. Bradley Cross here, BJC Outdoors. Hey, we're down here on the mighty Mississippi. It's game day today, man.
I like this guy already. He's country as can be. He's one of my kind of people. This is from my world. I like him already. Crazy
time getting up here this morning. We had to come about 50 miles in the dark, and passing double barges both sides of the river, and it's just a crazy deal, man.
If you listen to that, they ran 50 miles on the Mississippi River in the dark. That's a long way. That's a long way dodging a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, there's some barges up through there. They went a really, really long way to get to where they were fishing.
Didn't quite get to go as far as we wanted to because our gas kind of limited out on us. But
fuel on the boat started to become an issue. They could only run so far before they were in kind of a fuel situation. So very interesting strategy right off the bat. Now right here it's kind of cool. They're just kind of standing around, milling around. You're wondering, what are they doing? Just waiting on a bite? No, they're actually waiting for the time to start. This is a tournament to where you can go wherever you want to. Boom, it's start time. They're getting baits in the water. A lot of these tournaments, you're able to run wherever you want to run on the body of water that you're on, but you can't start fishing, putting baits in the water until a certain time. And what Micka's doing on the left side and Spencer's doing on the right side is they're putting some down lines down. And these are lines that are basically being fished straight underneath the boat on the bottom. It's kind of a three-way rig, a piece of sinker, a sinker on a piece of leader coming off part of the three-way, and then a bait either on a float or just on a leader line out behind there, and those are basically straight underneath the boat. The interesting thing here is those down lines that are straight underneath the boat. If you look at Micka's rod here on the left side of the screen, it almost looks like a fish is on it. They've got over 1 pound of weight on there. 24 ounces of lead is holding these baits on the bottom, and those are just some rods they can put in rod holders and leave alone. What's happening with the three guys is now they are putting baits into the water and walking them back behind the boat. They've got a trolling motor in the water that is holding the boat facing upstream, and they're basically controlling the drift backwards. If you kind of pay attention to the bank, you can kind of see stuff start to disappear, but a lot of current. If you look beside the boat, water is ripping through this area. I mean, it is stroking, and the boat is kind of moving with it. And this is where he's talking about how much weight they got on there. Now, the baits they are walking back, similar rig, a couple of different ways to do the rigs there, kind of a Kentucky rig style setup. How much weight you put on it kind of is determined by how much current you've got and how much the boat is floating back. It's kind of a controlled drift backwards. And they're using less weight on that because you want to be able to lift it and move it and work it backwards. And here pretty soon, they're going to get hooked into a fish. Right here, Micka is feeling something. It's hard to tell if he's like bouncing it off the bottom. They said something earlier about some rock in this area, so there could be some structure, some ups and downs. That's kind of what they're looking for. And he's going to set the hook on a fish right here in a second on that. Boom. There he goes. He's hooked up. Now what's happening here is the other two guys are reeling their stuff in to get it out of the way. And they'll probably reel the other ones up off the bottom. A couple things you can do here. One, you can stay in place and just kind of work back to the fish, depending on how much current you got and how much wind speed and everything else and how big the fish is. You can actually turn the motor off, float back to the fish. I'm not sure which they're doing here. This is Micka's boat, and he'd probably be in control of the trolling motor on it. So two ways to approach it there. It kind of depends on the size of the fish. Bradley, the net man, getting the net ready. Same kind of net I use, one for monster rod holders. This is the bigger version of the one I use. And getting in position to net the fish. You can see Spencer got all the rods out of the way. Everything's clear. They ain't got to worry about getting tangled up with anything. And now it's just a game of getting these fish into there. And let me tell you something. It don't matter how big the fish is. When you get in current like this, it's harder. It's tougher to net the fish. Having two people doing this alone is crazy. Having a couple of people to do it, it makes netting the fish a lot easier. You got room to move around in the boat. There he goes. Boom. Got him in the net. Landed quickly and easily. Dude, it's a heck of a fish to start out with. You know, Spencer was making the joke earlier about kind of getting the jitters out. And a fish like this pretty quickly, it's a heck of a way to start. They're trying to hit, as they said, 100 pounds. It was a good strategy. 100 pounds a day is a good average. A lot of these tournaments, you can kind of get a feel on the body of water of what it's basically going to take to be in the running. And 100 pounds a day seemed to be a pretty good average. Here it is. A good look at that fish. Probably, I don't know, mid-20s, maybe upper 20s. Knocking on the door 30, upper 20s. Again, good fish. 3 of those, maybe one big one out of there, 40, 50. And boom, you're up there in that range. Micka's got a big whale on his boat. I think he fishes out of a G3, if I'm not mistaken. And nice big live well on the back of it. And a good start. I think these guys probably have more cameras on this thing than the security setup at a prison. Between all 3 of them having YouTube channels, there's cameras all over the place. And I think all 3 of them will have videos out from this tournament. I'm going to put you links to all of them to where you can get a link to their channels if you don't know who 2 of them are. Bradley's our new guy, and trying to give him some exposure here on this one. Now they got that fish into the live well, got the hook untangled from the net. That's always a pain with getting the hooks out of the net. And Spencer's getting ready to set the hook on one right here. As you can see, boom. As soon as he gets hooked up, everybody's pulling their stuff in, getting it out of the way. And I don't do it on my boat. I pretty much leave stuff out. But we're able to fish stuff on planer boards. There's a pretty good spread of lines out the back. When you're in this kind of current, those lines are basically going straight back behind the boat. And it's just a recipe for disaster with leaving those lines out there. Now, once the fish gets close, you can cast back out and get the lines behind it if you want to. But most of the time, you're getting stuff out of the way, getting them reeled in, getting them to where they're not going to get tangled up. And Bradley here on the net, he's playing a good part of the net, man. Boom. Now watch this. The down rod Micka had on that side or on Spencer's side of the boat. Micka seen it get hit, and boom, hooks up on it. So they're technically doubled up at this point. 2 fish. One came on the down line, one came on the line that Spencer was working out the back of the boat. And that's the way this action can be. I think Spencer loses his. Oh, no. Spencer actually catches his smaller fish. Micka's right near the top of the water. Boom, pops off. So, in case you're wondering, everybody's fishing cut bait. I don't see any chicken on this trip. And that's not surprising. I will say this. I know there are some people that have used chicken out there and done really well with it. But usually skipjack is the preferred bait out there that most of these folks are using. So, boom, they got 2 fish in the tank at this point, and it's one a good one, this one a smaller one, but they're good, and there's going to be a couple more in here. And basically what happens is it's a rinse and repeat. Everybody goes back to their areas, gets their stuff set up, and they all kind of got a side of the boat here, Bradley in the middle, and it doesn't take long, and boom, Spencer sticks the hook in another one. He got the mojo magic going on that side of the boat. Bradley jumping back to the net man, Micka getting stuff out of the way, and it's kind of a good system for doing this. You can see why having 3 people on the boat helps in one of these tournaments. 2 of them is really a big dance. You get 3 of them in it, and it's a lot easier to pull this stuff off. Right now you can see water's still fairly calm. They're starting to pick up some wind, but it's not really bad choppy. You got to remember, current is going, they're facing downstream, so you got current going that way, you got some wind. It can make this kind of some tough fishing, and they're doing a good job here wrangling it and all of it. There's a little bit of an art to this type of fishing. Like I said, I don't do it. I played around with a little bit. We don't have constant current like you do here. This is something that flows steady all day long. We get it on dam releases, and it's honestly a different dynamic to that type of fishing as far as what the fish are doing it. But got one coming close to the top here, trying to get the rods out of the way, get everything cleared. Fishing near the top, and that man's coming in for the, boom, got him. Again, another fish. They get a limit. They got a limit of fish now, so next it's time to upgrade. And here we are a little while later, a little different position. You can see the background's changing. Guess who's hooked up again? Mr. River Certified is hooked up again. As you can tell here, it's starting to get choppy at this point. Wind's picked up. Got some waves building here. And it's a little more difficult in the wrangling of the boat and wrangling of the fish in. But like I said, what can happen a lot of times here is you're kind of controlling the drift back, whereas if the water's going this way, you're slowing the boat down so that the current's going this fast and your boat's going this fast. A lot of guys use the formula half the speed of the current. So if you got 3 mile an hour current, you're trying to drift backwards at about 1.5 miles an hour. People vary this up depending on where they're fishing, how they're fishing, what their particular strategies are, and if they're trying to work a particular area. But that's kind of the rough formula on how you do it. You need a good trolling motor, especially in this kind of current, at least a 24 volt, maybe a 36, and maybe even an extra set of batteries in some situations, depending on how strong it is. Mike is moving in for the net, and I think this is going to be a better fish. There's a lot more effort going into getting this one in. And it looks like the boat is floating backwards more, which usually means you're trying to work back to it, which you have to do on some bigger fish. Boom, he's in the net. I can see the head on it. It looks like a better fish. This will be one that will definitely cull one of those last couple fish that they caught. So these guys got a good system down for it, especially considering they haven't really fished together before to any large extent. And that's cool that they kind of fall into place. It's almost like the military. You kind of just fall into place. You know what your job is, even when you're dealing with people from different units and that kind of stuff. It's kind of the same thing. Everybody kind of knows what their job is, knows what their assignment is, and they got a good one here. So he hasn't caught a fish yet, so he's making the joke that he's just here for fist bumps and emotional support. So, but hey, listen, if you're landing fish, managing bait, managing rods, it's all part of the team effort. Who gets hooked gets hooked, and that's just the way it goes. I'm sure you put some fish in the boat. And to that point, I'm going to let you watch the rest of this video on their channel. There's still about probably 20 minutes of video here with some of the bigger fish that end up getting caught on this day one of this tournament. So go check out BJC Outdoors, his channel. I'm going to put a link down in the description. There's a good shot of the fish that they ended up getting there. Definitely a keeper. That'll call out some of the others. And go check his channel out. And I think you'll like his content and where he's fishing and how he fishes. So appreciate y'all checking it out. We'll catch you out on the water.